Welcome, Cancer. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your April full moon reading in Libra. The full moon is on the 6th of April, Wednesday, about 9:30 on the west coast of the U.S. So welcome. Let's get started with your overall energy for this full moon in Libra. We have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is about your identifying your true tribe, your true family. You have persevered through some difficult experiences with family members. You may have negotiated, worked very hard to establish something with family members in a way that was contentious, that helped you to understand where you really stood. This is also a time when you're understanding that your tribe may not be your family members entirely, but may consist of friends that have seen you through thick and thin. Identifying your true tribe is in many ways helping you identify your true family. And this is important emotionally for you, Cancer rising, because this forms your sense of rootedness and foundation in your domestic space. Your safety, your security revolves around those you consider members of your tribe, your true family. And this helps you to be clear about your allegiances, where you give your support and why, and to recognize the reciprocity that you do experience with people who may not be family members, may not even be close in proximity, but whom you've known throughout the years in as true friends, those you could rely on, people who know you at some core level and are always available for you as you are for them. This is where you are owning and taking possession of your gifts and your skills to be attentive, to nurture, to love, to give unending support, non-judgmentally to those that you consider members of your tribe and your family. In the position for the moon, we have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is about your making a complete shift in your sense of responsibility. You have naturally given, protected, taken care of others, assumed responsibilities that you were able to assume. It appeared to others naturally. Your sense of compassion and desire for protection and safety has often nominated you to the position of caretaker, and instead you are now recognizing the limits of how those relationships have not fulfilled your needs, have not attended to your desires. In so doing, you are recognizing instead these obligations. It can be to family members, it can be to friends, it can be to co-workers. You are instead shifting, transitioning away from this sense of needing to be responsible for the safety and well-being of others. And instead you are relinquishing that and transitioning into an allegiance to self, to a priority of your own needs and your own desires. And this is allowing you to release a tremendous burden of physical exhaustion, a tremendous burden of emotional drain that has perhaps affected you for your entire life. It certainly has culminated, I would say, in the last decade through a variety of shifts in your family structure, losses, changes in the dynamics of your family in which you have always stepped up. You're shifting that, you're releasing that, and that is causing a lot of disruption in your family, a lot of panic. In the position of the sun, you have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is really about this transition that you're experiencing and the foundation that you are not only creating but acknowledging and celebrating. In processing disappointments, you have recognized how much you've grown. In looking at things that you thought would save you, would make you happy, would complete you, you now recognize that you've grown so much since these wishes were first conceived. You no longer need, or you are now disappointed by the offers that you're receiving from others. You're more fundamentally understanding that your ability to find happiness and success in pursuit of your desires is on the basis of your aligning yourself with your individual desires and needs. So that you are practicing now the daily magic of manifesting the things that you truly want, that will truly serve you, the things that feel good, moving away from an environment where you were never appreciated, your efforts were not acknowledged, you were not seen and heard for who you were, but instead were appreciated for your ability to take care of stuff that no one else wanted to. This is a part of this foundation that you have created for yourself, this emotional foundation, this desire to, this ability to identify what does feel good, what serves you, and to celebrate this new grounding, this new foundation in a new reality. In the present, we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is your curiosity about the experiences you've had and the shifts that you've been able to make in your life, how you've been able to detach yourself from your powerful emotions as you've begun to perceive reality from a fresh truth by aligning yourself with the objective facts of how in fact you are or are not being served through your actions. This is you creating conversations where you become curious about the things that haven't worked and the things that you desire, so that you are aligning your truth with the truth and the experiences of others in a way that recognizes that those experiences don't occlude your experience, but in fact they make your experience more relevant and allow you to strategize better, not assuming resistance, but instead seeing opportunity in the resistance that you have experienced. You now understand that you can build on the basis of your rational plan, on the basis of this deeper understanding of the objective reality that you are facing, rather than your compassionate desire to make others feel good, when in fact that experience has not been returned to you so often. In the past, we have the Moon card. The Moon card is about looking at what is hidden, what is mysterious, this ability to really face down these unpleasant experiences, these mysteries of a lack of equity in your relationships, for example, the mysteries of why you may have been consistently nominated to take care of others when, in your estimation, you are as equally in need of nurturance and support. you are aligning yourself with those experiences that may be recognizing a deeper history through your ancestry or your culture, through those who came before you, who made sacrifices for it so that you could have the opportunities you've had. Finding the cyclic nature in your mission of service, how in fact you may be reflecting the energy, character, temperament, or mission of an ancestor who you can still rely on for support, for understanding that, and that energy is still available to you for inspiration in what are very difficult levels of experience, difficult experiences, complicated realities that are hard to parse and understand objectively. In the present, we have the Ten of Swords. So this is your second 10. You have 2 4s. You're making big changes. You are in a period of big transition as you move again 180 degrees away from the customary habits of your social experience, so that you have not only released these obligations that you once owned as belonging to you, fulfilling them without addressing your own needs or desires, and a deeper understanding of why the responsibility perhaps that you took in those imbalanced relationships, in those disappointments, in those failures that did not yield you, in which essentially you gave your power away. You gave your power to others in the hope that it would be reciprocated based on their good intentions, their maturity, their vision, their understanding and acceptance of your authenticity. Instead, you are now taking responsibility for the things that you want and moving towards those in a much more direct manner. You're moving towards what feels good directly. You're selecting those experiences that are pleasurable, that don't hurt, and don't cause you concern, stress, worry, and lack. This is a phenomenal change that you have been experiencing for at least a decade. And this may have been a decade that contained not only the global pandemic, but also changes in the family structure, the social structure of your employment, the changes that have occurred in the institutions and structures around you that have allowed you to recognize that you must take the initiative in pursuing what makes you happy. I'm going to clarify the moon position, the Ten of Wands with the Strength card, and the Nine of Wands. Indeed, wow. So this is just affirming the amount of emotional challenge that you have forborne in your desire to be responsible to family members, team members, work obligations, domestic challenges, and the perseverance you've shown in facing down those things that haven't worked, really looking at those relationships that have been unequal, that have been exploitive, that have made assumptions, that have judged you, and quite unfairly, so that you have really allowed yourself to experience the grief of losses you may have sustained and ways in which you try to make up for or step in for the balance that was off kilter in your family or work structures. So you have really accepted that these lessons, these unappreciative relationships, imbalanced relationships were not only necessary for you to break this bond, this um, burdensome bond, these burdensome responsibilities, also quite necessarily for the improvement of your health, because I can see a tremendous drain on your health in your ability to try and negotiate these challenges, these relationships. But you are continuing to persevere through the debris, through the residue of these losses, and really stand up for and release yourself from these false obligations. I'm also going to clarify the Queen of Swords in your present with the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. I understand why you are celebrating and really identifying these family members, these friends, these alliances that really constitute your tribe. You've really understood that this pattern of heartbreak, this pattern of disappointment, these failures that you have experienced in your relationships that have gone back and forth for years are really the thing that in many ways binds you to this tribe, this celebration of who your true family is. You are really working to balance out your experience of the past with the potential for the future. You have really forced yourself to learn rapidly, quickly, believe the evidence of your senses when those who have disappointed you but expected your care in the past have limited you and have taught you where the potential, where the lack of care existed, and you have invested in what others have shown you without the sense of compassion, unending, undying compassion, the lack of judgment that you have lavished care on these relationships that were not reciprocated, that did not see you. So this pattern is really allowing you to objectify your reality so that you can recognize the lessons that these relationships, these situations taught you, and that you are indeed able to choose a way that feels lighter, freer, and more successful, that feels better. I hope this reading is resonating for you, Cancer. If so, please like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the love and support that I get from you, so thank you for that. And I have pulled worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome, and hopefully this is something that you are learning, meditating on, and learning to release. So I thank you so much for your time, Cancer. I look forward to seeing you. Until next time, Namaste.